The little boy's unexpected question took everyone by surprise. The gathered crowd fell silent, their attention focused entirely on the exchange between Aram and Kim. As Kim answered, her voice soft but filled with sincerity, the church's atmosphere shifted. Her heartfelt response about faith, strength, and overcoming loss struck a chord with everyone present. By the time she finished speaking, the congregation was visibly moved. Many quietly wiped tears from their eyes, touched by the vulnerability and authenticity of the moment. It wasn't just the words that moved them, but the deep connection they felt to both the little boy's innocent yet profound question and Kim's empathetic and wise answer. In that quiet moment, it was as if the entire church shared a collective understanding of pain, resilience, and the power of hope. That connection, born out of the boy's courage to ask and Kim's openness to answer, transformed the room. What began as a question of faith became a reminder of their shared humanity and the strength that comes from being united in times of hardship. In January 2025, the wildfires in California had left their ashen mark. The entire state was on the path to recovery, and people who had lost their homes sought hope in prayer and solidarity. A small Armenian church in Los Angeles, which had narrowly escaped the waves of fire, had become a refuge of hope and peace. That Sunday, the church was filled with emotional believers who had come to pray, not only for their lives, but also for their community. That day, the church had an unexpected guest. Kim Kardashian, who often spoke about her Armenian roots, had come to attend the service. During this time, she was actively involved in initiatives to help families affected by the wildfires and wanted to pray, as well as connect with her fellow Armenians. Inside the church, the air was heavy with the scent of candle smoke and the quiet murmurs of the congregation. In one corner stood little Aram, a lively 10-year-old boy who had lost his home to the fires along with his family. His curiosity wouldn't let him sit still. He kept glancing at Kim, who was seated in the front row, calm and focused. After the service ended, people approached Kim to shake her hand and express their gratitude. Aram, small but brave, gathered all his confidence and stepped forward. "Kim," he said firmly, his voice breaking the silence as everyone watched. "What do you think about God?" Kim, momentarily surprised, looked into the young boy's bold eyes. In them, she saw both curiosity and the pain of all that he had endured. She remained silent for a few seconds, as if searching for the right words. Then she knelt down to his level, offering him a warm and maternal smile. "That's a very difficult question, Aram," she said gently. "I believe that God is always with us, especially in the hardest moments." Aram tilted his head slightly, as if trying to understand better. Then, slowly, he asked, "If he's with us, then why does all of this happen? Why did our house burn down?" A shadow of sadness briefly passed through Kim's eyes. She took a deep breath and then slowly began to speak. "Aram Jan, you know, I've had many difficult moments in my life. I lost my father, Robert, when I was still very young." She paused for a moment, her voice soft but heavy with emotion. "He was my hero. He was always there for me, always giving me advice, and always standing by my side." Kim's tone became quieter as she continued. "When he got sick with cancer, I prayed every single day for him to get better. But when he passed away, I felt so alone and broken." Her voice was gentle and sorrowful. She stopped briefly, took another breath, and then went on. "For a long time, I didn't understand why God would let me lose him. It felt so unfair. But over the years, I came to realize something: when we lose the people or things most important to us, God gives us strength to keep going. Losing my father taught me to cherish every single moment I have with my family, to appreciate every person I love." Aram listened intently, his young face filled with emotion and deep thought. After a moment, he asked quietly, "What do you do now when you feel sad?" Kim smiled, as if she had already thought about her answer many times before. "When I feel sad, I think about what my dad would say to me. He always told me I should help people, that I should be the best version of myself. And you know what? I find happiness by helping others. I want to help you and your family, Aram, Kim said softly. I want you and all your loved ones to believe that these difficult days will pass and that God will give us the strength to rebuild our lives. After Kim's words, a deep silence filled the church. I believe that God is always with us, even in the hardest times, she continued. During the fires, I asked myself the same question, why do such things happen? But I've come to understand that God gives us the strength to keep living, to help one another, and to stay united. Aram looked at her for a moment, his young face thoughtful and quiet. Then, bowing his head, he asked in a soft voice, do you think he can give us a new home? Kim, gently holding his hand, replied, I can't promise that, but if we all work together, I'm sure everything will turn out okay. And you know what? I will help you and your family. Her words echoed through the church, and soon the congregation broke into applause. That day, the church became not only a place of prayer, but also a space of hope and support. Kim was still holding little Aram in her arms when a woman, about 70 years old, approached her. Her white hair framed a dignified face, modestly dressed and graceful. There was a sacred respect and a soft smile on her lips, but her eyes seemed clouded, filled with sorrow and longing. The elderly woman paused for a moment, her hands gently clasped together. Her voice trembled slightly, but there was strength behind it as she spoke. Kim, she began, I want to thank you for being here with us today, for reminding us of our Armenian roots, and for the kindness you've shown to those who've suffered so much. Kim turned her full attention to the woman, her gaze warm and welcoming. Thank you, Kim replied. I'm honored to be here. Please, tell me what's on your mind. The woman took a deep breath, her eyes glistening as if she were carrying the weight of many years and memories. She began to speak, her voice trembling slightly but steady with purpose. I was born in Armenia, back when everything was different, the elderly woman began, her voice steady but tinged with emotion. There, in our city, life was simple but filled with love and peace. I married young, and my son, Sargis, was born when I was just 20 years old. He was my hope, the light of my life. Sadly, he is no longer with us. But as the years went by, we decided to move to America in search of a better future. The day we left Armenia, I stood in front of our house, looking at the apricot tree that grew in our yard. It felt as though the tree was a part of our family. Kim listened intently, without uttering a single word, her expression full of compassion. The churchgoers, too, remained silent, captivated by the woman's heartfelt story. We came here to America, the woman continued, but everything here was so different. We lost so much, our language, our traditions. I always remember Armenia, our simple and warm life there. Sometimes, I feel that if I could return to my land, maybe my heart would find a bit of peace. But I know the pain isn't mine alone. Even today, my homeland is going through its own struggles. Her voice trembled slightly as she spoke, but there was an unyielding strength in her words, a testament to the resilience of someone who had endured so much. Kim's eyes glistened with unshed tears as she absorbed the weight of the woman's story, deeply moved by her connection to her homeland and her enduring pain. Kim's eyes filled with tears. She reached out and gently took the woman's hands in hers. I'm so sorry for your loss, Kim said softly. You're incredibly strong. Your story reminds us all of the importance of cherishing what we have, our family, our roots, our memories. I promise to do everything I can to honor stories like yours and to support our Armenian community, wherever they are. The elderly woman smiled faintly, a tear escaping down her cheek. She placed her hand over Kim's. Thank you, my dear, she said. May God bless you. And may we all find peace, whether here or back in our Armenia. Kim was still speaking with the woman when the voice of Father Vardan, the church priest, echoed through the church's arches. He addressed the congregation with a warm smile and pride. Dear faithful, today is not only a day of prayer for our church, but also a day of gratitude. In these difficult times, as our community has endured the devastation of the wildfires, our sister Kim Kardashian has shown great support by helping the families affected by this tragedy. Her dedication and kindness prove that love, care, and solidarity know no boundaries. Father Varden's words resonated throughout the church. The people began to applaud, and Kim, standing quietly, offered a modest smile, her eyes lowered, though visibly moved. Father Vardan continued. We wish to express our gratitude to her with this gift, a symbol of our community's prayers and thankfulness. It is no secret that opinions about her may vary, but what truly matters is the fact that today she has helped hundreds of people in need. One of the event organizers approached Kim, holding a black and gold box adorned with intricate designs. Inside the box was a beautiful Armenian gold cross, delicately handcrafted, with a small gemstone at its center, a symbol of faith and the power of new beginnings. Kim looked at the cross inside the box, then at the priest and the gathered crowd. Her eyes filled with tears. I don't know what to say. This is so moving, Kim said, taking a deep breath. Thank you all so much. These past few days, I've seen just how united our people are. No matter how many challenges you face, you never lose your faith, your strength, or your love for one another. This cross isn't just a gift to me, it's a responsibility, a reminder to continue supporting you and our fellow Armenians. She gave a soft smile and raised the cross in her hand. I promise I will carry this with me always, and every time I look at it, I will remember this moment, each one of you, and why it is so important to stay united. The congregation erupted into applause, inspired by Kim's heartfelt words. Some of the attendees began to sing one of the old spiritual hymns of the church, their voices harmonizing and creating a profound sense of togetherness. Kim stood holding the cross, tears streaming down her face, showing that this moment was unforgettable for her. She felt that here, in this small church, she was not only reconnecting with her Armenian roots, but also finding new hope and purpose in her mission to help and bring people together. The silence in the church was somber yet symbolic of unity. Kim hugged the elderly woman warmly, and in that moment, everyone present felt that their connection transcended words. It was a bond of shared pain, hope, and faith. For the elderly woman, the moment was a source of comfort. For little Aram, walking home with his family, his heart was warmed. He now believed that even from the deepest ashes, one could rise again, with the support of those willing to help. That day, the church became a place where pain transformed into hope, where longing turned into unity, and where new beginnings were born.